Good morning, all. Now, welcome to the fifth day of our FDP. Now we have with us the distinguished expert, Dr. Nitin Gulhane, sir. Let me introduce sir. Dr. Nitin Gulhane, sir, is an associate professor in VGTI, Mumbai. He has completed his PhD from IIT Bombay, and he has a keen research interest in microfluidics, convective heat transfer, computational fluid dynamics, MEMS design and microchannel cooling, optimization in thermal devices and energy management. Sir has a vast experience in the CFD as well as uh, related areas. He also have a wide experience in teaching as well as in research. There is no need to say about his publication. You can please go to the Google Scholar or you can visit to the VGTI webpage. So he has a large number of publications as well as research components. Sir, thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation. Dr. Nitin, sir. Hello. Dr. Gulane, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the session is over to you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Uh, Thank you for introducing me and providing this opportunity to present this research on this virtual platform of Atal FDP. So thanks to Symbiosis International University and the organizing team. Today, I'm going to present the physical investigation and the inferences of property variation in the microconvection of gas and liquid. So theoretical and numerical investigation is carried out using the CFD. So I prefer then to talk in advances of CFD portion. This presentation will be consisting of introduction to the micro channel devices and the review of the microfluidics, how these micro devices vary from the conventional devices, and when you scaling down the devices come to micro pico channel, micro dimensions, how the rarefaction effect comes in picture and how these effects play a dominant role in a heat transfer, pressure drop and friction characteristics. And then the effect which we usually ignore in the conventional devices, we cannot neglect in the micro channel dimensions, microfluidics or micro MEMS devices. So the design aspect, we have to consider all these rarefaction effects. For example, axial conduction, viscous dissipation, property variation. So then altogether design strategy become different. So keeping this in view, one problem is described considering one of the rarefaction effect as property variation, and the numerical solution is try to find out using the CFD tool. So this is what the application of CFD in microfluidics is, which we are going to discuss today on this platform. So basically here influence of property variation in single phase laminar force gas microconvection is studied, and it is with two types of effect. One is with entrance effect and one is without entrance effect. Means in without entrance effect, we are considering the fully developed velocity profile at the inlet. wherein in the entrance effect, we will consider a flat profile at the inlet. This research will also focus on pressure and friction drop characteristics in a continuum based laminar compressible microconvective flow. And here both cases are considered. The property variation, it influences in case of heat transfer, that is calculation of Nusselt number, and friction and pressure drop characteristics for both the cases, gas and liquid case. The effect of variation in air property in the laminar micro flow parameters like wall shear stress. When you go for friction factor and pressure drop, you must know what is the wall shear stress, fanning friction, pressure drop, and Darcy friction factor. So all these effects are classified as direct and indirect effect. In addition to this, in the result, the novel problem called as a grades problem is numerically studied using advanced CFD solution. And this case is studied for two types of investigation: the effect of gas property variation for the low subsonic flow and the change in Nusselt number with axial location of the liquid property variation. So in result, this grades problem is also tried to discuss. And at the end, we will summarize the effect of property variation, the thermodynamic property variation, like effect of density, number one, effect of CP, specific heat at constant pressure, the effect of conductivity, and the effect of viscosity. So at the end, what are the effect of these four thermophysical property on heat transfer characteristics, that is Nusselt number, and what is the effect on friction and pressure drop characteristics, that will be summarized in this conclusion. So this is what the overview of this today's discussion. We see when we talk about the CFD, a Collis example and the Innova, you can see the difference. Before streamlining and after streamlining, you will come to know, because of the change in shape, reasonably this drag force we are trying to reduce, and this is possible with the help of finding the contours of the velocity which are hitting to the front bonnet of this car, which will result reduce in the drag force because of the shape. So you can see this is the application of fluid mechanics for a moving car on a road. So previously there was a fixed die, and we have no such type of CFD analysis 3 decades before, 2 decades before. But now altogether we can use these ANSYS, we can use this Fluent, we can use all types of this console and all softwares, and you can check what is the reduction in this drag force. So you can see this is one of the best example of the CFD. And in a complex flow engineering system, when we study the gas turbine, the turbine generator, before to design the shape, size, volume, material, and all the effects of these parameters, the fluid parameters like this conductivity, density, the temperature field, velocity field, all together you can find well in advance before you fabricate anything else. This is what the beauty of this software of CFD. So complex flow engineering problems are designing the shape, maybe of bike, maybe of the bullet train, maybe of this type of vehicle. You can use this type of CFD solution when you go for the complex flow engineering system. When you construct the bridge, what is the distance between these two pillars? and what should be the height so that this wave energy should not hit at the large to this pillar, and the boats and the ship which can go easily without obstructing this current, that also can be seen with the help of this CFD solution. So that is true for this gas turbine and the wind power tower. So such type of complex flow engineering system you can handle with the help of this CFD tool. So the best example we will see in the aerospace. Very first, I will go through the application point of view. I will focus on biomedical application, the aerospace application, material technology, the MEMS technology, electronics application. So after describing all this application in 5 to 10 minutes, then I will specifically focus on the electronics and MEMS devices application where this research area is applicable, and then how these MEMS devices can be designed, microfluidics can be studied. So that then we will enter in depth. So let me highlight various applications of the CFD. So I start with this first application called as aerospace application. You can see here when it fly at a very high altitude, so it has a drag force. The propulsion takes place with the help of engine located at this end of the two wings. We have a gravity because of the weight of this system and the passenger sitting inside. And of course, the lift is generated with the help of this wings shape aerofoil blades, right? So then this propulsion study can be done. This aerofoil shape, how the angle, how the attack angle is designed, this can be well studied. And basically, if you see the structure, this aerodynamic forces, there are four types of forces we call as a first as a thrust, which is called as the power of the airplane engine, which will takes in the forward direction. This is the thrust. Second is the drag force. It is the resistance of the air molecule that hits the airplane, and it is a backward force. Means these two forces are opposite to each other. This will opposes and this will propel. So of course this should be higher than this drag force. Third force is called as a lift, which is an upward force, and the last and fourth force called as a weight due to gravity and which acts in a downward force, downward direction. So thrust is generated by airplane engine, propeller or jet. Weight is to be created by natural force of gravity acting upon the airplane. Third, drag comes from the friction as the plane moves through air molecules, and the lift is generated by the airplane in the flight, and this is possible with the help of wings of the airplane. So in short, if you do the CFD of all these four forces, what is the quantity, what is the quality, in what proportion they should be, so you will find thrust must be greater than drag, the lift must be greater than weight, and so you can see drag opposes the thrust and lift opposes the weight. So we are only doing our business to lift entire body, the aeroplane along with the passenger. So this is possible with the help of wings, and that is of the aerofoil shape. So cross section of the typical airplane wing will show the top surface is more curved than a bottom surface. Because of this Bernoulli's principle, this molecule flowing over the top surface will move at a higher velocity, means pressure force will be lower compared to this force. So because of creating this pressure difference, higher pressure and lower pressure, because of this pressure difference, this will be lifted up. So this shape of profile is called as aerofoil shape. So this is one of the example that we can use using this CFD application. Second is automobile. In automobile, very first right in beginning we have seen this entire shape you can design as you want, whether it's a racing car, whether it is a passenger car, where it is a truck, bus, depends on the load capacity, the speed, and the type of application for which this vehicle is using. So depends on this, we can calculate the drag force and then accordingly we can put the shape. So this is possible to design with the help of this calculation of the drag force using CFD. So this is the outside part, but if you go to the inside, so the passengers sitting inside, they should feel a comfort. So ventilation, so air conditioning, that is required, right? So this air condition moves interior heat to the outside door, outsider in a summer month. So how that flow should be, at what rate the cold air should circulate inside the compartment, and how it should be exhausted, warm air, and how this quantity should be maintained, makeup air quantity should be maintained. And then if it is cold, you have to start the heater. If it is a heated condition, you have to start the air condition. So in order to maintain the comfort temperature of 24, you can design your air condition as per your comfort and the area available inside the vehicle. So this is what one of the best example of the CFD, where you can study the airflow and the velocity contour and the temperature contours. In case of biomedical, if you see, this is what the heart that will pump the blood through all the cells, and it also provides nutrients to the cell, that is the oxygen level, right? So this pumping which takes place through these various veins, these are the veins and these are all branches. So where it is choke up, how it flow takes place, what is the mass flow rate of the blood, what are the velocity vectors, what is the temperature contours present in the veins of this blood, this can be studied with the help of CFD. So this is one of the best example of the CFD in biomedical, wherein this heart pump the blood throughout the body. This supply all to the living cell with this supply oxygen and nutrient, and thus because of this oxygen supply, this nutrient supply, this will carry away the waste product of inside the body, that is a digestible product, and that is why our temperature of the body will maintain. If this waste product is not thrown out, the temperature inside the body, that is exergy, will continuously increases, and temperature will rise than the critical temperature. So it is also necessary to carry out the waste product and to maintain the uniform temperature within the body, and that study we can do well with the help of the CFD. So similarly, the lungs that provide for the inhalation of the air containing oxygen, which is absorbed in the bloodstream, and exhalation of carbon dioxide that has been evolved from the bloodstream. So this is what the example in case of this biomedical. Now let us focus on the chemical. This is what the reactor, and because of this tremendous amount of heat generation, because of the nuclear fission and the fusion, so we have to maintain the temperature inside the core. So the coolant is required, or cryogenic cooling is required. So how then this temperature is to be maintained, and what should be the velocity, at what rate? So entire study can be possible with the help of this CFD in a chemical industries. This is the more important focusing point for our today's study, that is for the MEMS design. This is what the PCB motherboard of the computer laptop, wherein tremendous amount of heat is generated because of this running diode, triode, Zener diode, or operational amplifier. So usually we have two types of fan. You can see here fans that will exhaust the energy or heat which is generated surrounding on the surface. So if this temperature is not maintained, the temperature will go on increasing, and the life of the component, electronics component, will go down, and that will deteriorate, and it will deteriorate the life, or it will it will decrease the life of this component, and your PC and everything will go down. And that is why we are trying to keep all these devices in the air conditioning, and we try to avoid dust or any particle to enter. That is why this AC cabin is provided, and we try to keep shoes and all everything away from this door. So this is what the analysis. This is called as a hotspot. whenever there is a high temperature affected zone on the PCB motherboard, that is called the hotspot, and we are trying to remove the heat from the hotspot. So, and this is what the PCB, this is the analysis of CFD, how this blower will take the heat to the atmosphere and will maintain the temperature. This is what the velocity vector, velocity contour we are trying to analyze. And in order to provide a more cooling, we are trying to attach a number of fins of different shape, different height, different dimension with different types of pitches in between, the distance in between. So this design, which will provide a more thermal management to the entire system, that is application of the thermal management or heat transfer or CFD. So by the way, we can calculate it, the uniform temperature within the system and temperature will not rise to the higher level. So this is one of the best example for the electronics or MEMS industry, thermal management system. So you can see here, these are the micro channels which are provided. You can see even a thread, a small thread, and you keep in needle, it will not also insert. So the dimension of this micro channel, which are provided on this hotspot in order to provide the cooling effect, so that whatever heat generated in this silicon substrate, that will be carried out from one end to other end. So such a small micro channel devices are embedded in the silicon substrate. So this example is just kept to show how the dimensions are so small. It is below 1 mm and maybe in micrometer. So this was the first PCB, first experiment operated by Tuckerman and Peace, a well-known scientist in this area in 1981. They tried to cool this PCB of the electronic devices and maintain the uniform temperature of 35 degree over the surface, and they tried to remove the hot spot. They tried to remove the heat flux from the surfaces. Around it was 750 watt per centimeter square, and it opens the door of microchannel cooling and MEMS design. So this was the first experiment. Specifically, I have copied here. So these are called as a CPU hotspot, and these are the microchannels of this rectangular shape. And here, the fluid is pumped in the microchannel from this end to this end. This is the top view, this is side view. So because of this pumping of the fluid, the hot air or whatever heat is carried out by the fluid, and it will carry out the heat from one end to other end. So during the flow of this heat at different location, it will pick up the temperature through this silicon substrate, and because of that temperature, there is a change in property of the fluid. The fluid may be air, the fluid may be water, the fluid may be refrigerant. So the change in property like density change, CP change, conductivity change, and viscosity change. So because of this high temperature gradient, the variation in property occurs at a very high level, and you cannot ignore in these micro scale devices. And that is what today's focus is. So we are noting this as a scaling effect, that is a property variation effect. So here we will try to discuss on this problem, that is a MEMS industry, MEMS cooling devices. So it involves the CFD application, it involves the heat transfer characteristics, thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, and all these thermal management systems. The next application is a fluid structure interaction. When you construct the high-rise building, so either Pune Mahanagarpalika, Bombay Mahanagarpalika, Thane Mahanagarpalika, they will ask this architect and this construction builders to take no objection from the high-rise building section, so that the air which is flowing nearby, that should not get trapped. what should be the distance between the two building, what is the approximate height of the building. So if the height is suppose 64 uh, wings, so the immediate building will not be of that height, because the flow should not be obstructed and all the ventilation, everything will be taken care of. So that comes under the town planning. So that goes inside the study of this fluid interacting with the structures. So they will take the vortex shading and the velocity, at what rate this airflow will strike to the building, and then how much quantity of air is available for each of the flat or for each of the floor. Then this is the example in marine, and in power generation, maybe a wind, how this airflow takes place and how it gets cuts. So because of this movement of the blades, the energy generated. So this is one of the application, marine application, power generation application of the CFD. In material processing also, we have a number of materials which will carry the heat with the help of its property. It will store the heat. So this type of application, composites are also widely applicable and are very popular in today's industry. So in case of, this is the last application, in case of sports, we have these different types of design and shape. And also when you try to rotate your pedal, so you can see entire body shape, so that minimum drag should be there. So then this such type of racer, they will study that what is the height, what is the weight, and what is the path of the racing. So accordingly they will keep their position in this manner, sometimes erected, sometimes this. So in case of bike, in case of cycle, or in case of this car racing. So these are these applications. With this application, now we will try to move to the micro channel application, MEMS devices or electronics, PCB or motherboard cooling devices, wherein we are trying to use a micro channel called as a micro tube heat sinks. So let us go to see why this micro channel cooling or micro tube heat sinks are required, where it is applicable, how it works, and if this works so fine, then what are the problems? So of course, if there are some advantages, it carries tremendous amount of heat and it manages thermal level. Thermal management is good. Then what are the problems? Yes, there are the problems because of high surface area. We have more friction, we have more pressure drop. So how to overcome these hurdles? So in studying all these systems, so how our results, they are deviated in heat transfer characteristics and pressure drop characteristics in case of microchannel than the conventional channel. That is what the study is. So today electronics, telecommunication industries, these are marching toward the miniaturization of the electronic devices. And because of this miniaturization, there is increasing demand for the space efficient, high performance heat dissipation devices. In earlier days, maybe 2 decades before, the size of the laptop, the computer, it was too big. And now you can see the size of the laptop, the pad, the mobile, it is become smarter, smaller, high density pack, very small in volume. This is only because of thermal management. We could add number of integrated circuit inside the system. This is only possible because the thermal management is possible. Whatever heat is generating inside these devices, we could able to dissipate into the atmosphere. We could able to dissipate into the surrounding environment. Though we are feeling this laptop or palm top or your mobile is getting heated, but the temperature within the system remains same and your system is working well. though you are affecting because of this radiation, because of this temperature, sometimes it's had a bad effect on your health. But the system is very good because of this thermal management. This is what the beauty of this coming down scaling process, that is called as the miniaturization effect. So this possibility of the miniaturizing devices, it was first pointed out by the well-known scientist called Richard Feynman, and his talk was on one famous lecture, Plenty of the Room at the Bottom. He taught this entire uh, miniaturization concept in 1959. So today, these miniaturization devices is not only a reality, but it is also estimated that the market will increase to $100 billion. Now today it is almost 50. In coming 2 to 3 years, it will get double. So this person, Feynman, has rightly pointed out that time. What he pointed out, he was telling that although the laws of physics remain the same, but the effect which are negligible at macro scale, that is in conventional devices, can become very, very important at a micro scale. So this sentence, which require a greater understanding to successfully implement these devices, and these devices, it is called the microfluidics devices. And the dimension of these microfluidics devices, they are ranging in between 1 micrometer to 1 millimeter, and this is called the microchannel devices. So this is what we are talking about, the microtube heat sinks. And because of the small dimensions, very high temperature gradient exists, because temperature variation is very large inside the fluid which is flowing inside the tube. And of course, it has a very low thermal resistance because of the high conductivity. It has got a very low thermal resistance. So entire system is very space efficient, and it works with a very high performance. And because of this cost reduction and extreme increase in the reliability and the performance through this miniaturization technique, that has been developed the microelectronics industry over many years. So this microsystem, we can classify it into MEMS devices. MEMS means MEMS, micro electromechanical devices. MFD devices, microfluid devices, and micro opto electromechanical devices, that is MOEMS. So these are widely applicable. These all three types of devices, MEMS, MOMS, and MFD, these are widely applicable in all the engineering and biomedical field. So how this microtube channel will work? It will extract the amount of heat generated in the silicon substrate on the system when it flow in the downstream direction, and it will carry the heat. So while carrying the heat, number of effect that will come in picture, that we will try to understand in the microchannel flow study. So as these dimensions are very small, we have a more surface, and that is why friction and high pressure drop we are facing in designing of the MEM devices. And ultimately, because of this friction and high coolant pressure drop, we require more power and effective micro pumping system, right? And when you study all these things, so there is a deviation in the fluid flow and the heat transfer characteristics. The only reason is we have additional effect, scaling effect, to study at a lower dimensions. So we are trying to do this convective flow through the microchannel when the flow is taking place through the tube, microtube or microchannel. And specifically, the focus is given for increasing the Nusselt number, that is extracting more and more amount of heat to the surrounding, where we are focusing to find what is the Nusselt number. But at the same time, we should not forget that we are losing the pressure drop. Because of the friction factor, we have pressure drop because of more surface area available. So this should be lesser. So how this friction factor affects on the entire heat transfer characteristics, we should not forget. That is why second point is also thrust on this friction factor. At the cost of this friction factor, how much rise in the Nusselt number is, that was the study is. And in the past, so many authors, right from 1965 to the 2010, they studied what is the Nusselt number and the original theory. So they have tried to design a various hydraulic diameter of various dimensions of the microchannel with various cross section, maybe of circular, trapezoidal, rectangle, and they have used many types of test fluid, right from air, water, nitrogen, hydrogen. But they found that these all results are deviating from the conventional channel. Another study was carried out by so many authors, right from 1983 to 2008 till 2020, and they study what is the friction factor and Postulus number. And they found that in some cases, this friction factor and Reynolds number, the product of these two, it will be equals to the available theory in the textbook. Sometimes it more, sometimes it is less. So why it's so? So they have tried to carry out the experiment using different types of microchannel of various dimensions, of various cross section, using different types of test fluid, and they found that this is possible. Sometimes it's greater, sometimes it is less, sometimes there is a change in Nusselt number because of the friction factor or pressure drop change. But altogether, they come to know that this is all possible because of the scaling effect. That scaling effect is more dominant at a reducing dimension. So this scaling effect, in case of gas microconvection, this is classified into rarefaction and non-rarefaction. So as the dimension of the channel is getting reduced, this is very clear that at some point of conventional continuum equation get breakdown. Why this is so? Because at some point the conventional continuum equations that breaks down. So the rarefaction scaling effect arises because of the failure of this continuum assumption. These continuum assumptions, because of its failure, we are getting this type of scaling effect, or this breakdown effect. This breakdown or failure of this continuum assumption, it is characteristics by Nusselt number. Sorry, Knudsen number. Let me show you. This is the Knudsen number, Kn. So this Knudsen number is defined. It is the ratio of mean molecular free path and hydraulic diameter, characteristic dimension. So this Knudsen number, this ratio is explain the deviation of fluid from the continuum behavior. That is was called the rarefaction effect. When lambda is much smaller than dh, the continuum model is valid. So you can see here, when lambda is much smaller than dh, we have this Knudsen number in the range of 0.1 to 0.001. Then we call it as a slip flow regime. Still, it is less than that. You can see Knudsen number tending to 0.0001. Here we can call it the continuum theory we can apply, and ordinary density level we can assume here. But if this Knudsen number increases from 0.1 and it ranges to 10, then it is a transition regime, and still it is more than 10 ranging towards 100, then it is a free molecular flow. So when this Knudsen number will tend to 0, we can assume this is a continuum flow here without molecular diffusion, and here Euler equation model we can use. And when it is less than 10 to the power minus 3, that is this 0.001, we consider this as a continuum flow with a molecular diffusion. And in order to solve this model, we can use NS equation, Navier-Stokes equation, but with boundary condition, as we can use here no slip wall boundary conditions. When this Knudsen number ranges in between 10 to the power minus 3 and 0.1, we called it as a continuum transition. And here we can solve this type of modeling with the help of Navier-Stokes equation, but we apply here first order slip boundary condition at the wall. And similarly, we have this Knudsen number ranging between this 2.110 with the help of this Burnett equation of high order slip boundary condition at wall. Using DSMC and lattice Boltzmann structure, we can solve this. And when it is free molecular flow, we have this collisionless Boltzmann equation, DSMC, and lattice Boltzmann equation. So this is what the Knudsen number range for various types of flow. So as this Knudsen number increases, the rarefaction effect become more important and continuum approach down altogether. This is what I wanted to say from this figure. This may lead to violation because of this breaking down approach that lead to violation of some assumptions which are commonly made for the conventional flow, and that is why this microfluidic study comes in picture, and that is why it is the novelty of this research. So we are trying to focus now scaling effects. We are now narrowing down towards our research. We are going to the scaling effect. One is rarefaction, one is non-rarefaction. So rarefaction means velocity slip, temperature jump, and non-rarefaction means this axial conduction, viscous dissipation, property variation, and wherein we are again focusing on one of the more important non-rarefaction scaling effect as a property variation, because you see the temperature gradient in a very small area of the microchannel is very, very high. And because of this high temperature gradient, the property of the fluid is getting varied. So we have to consider this variation in property, and that has a very important role in heat transfer characteristics. So that was also studied right in beginning by this well-known author Cedar-Tete. In heat transfer, we have this correlation of this Cedar-Tete. They found this property ratio method of this Nusselt number, means with property variation, and Nusselt number with constant property. So when they found this correlation, they found that there is a correlation of the viscosity, mean viscosity and viscosity at the wall. So there is a correlation. This is to be correlated with this with the help of this raised to power m. Later on, this scientist, they studied constant wall temperature. Herwig is from TUH Germany, wherein we were associated during this PhD. He tried to focus on this isomptotic method, and along with this, Herwig, Professor Maulikar from IIT Aerospace Department, who is happened to be my supervisor, they tried to found this asymptotic method to determine Nusselt number correlationship, Nusselt number asymptotic for property variation, and how this Nusselt number correlate with the constant property with this variation in conductivity. So they have tried to establish this correlation, which was popular and published in this paper. So they tried to find this Nusselt number with the help of this formula, that is a heat flux into diameter of the microchannel divided by this factor, temperature difference of the wall and mean temperature. This is the bulk mean temperature. This is taken as an enthalpy average temperature of the bulk of the fluid at a particular cross section which is flowing inside the microchannel. And this is the conductivity of the fluid, mean conductivity of the fluid at a particular cross section. So here the objective of this investigation, today's presentation, will be to study the role of CP, conductivity, maybe density, or maybe viscosity, with or without entrance effect, and it effects on the friction and pressure drop characteristics of both gas as well as liquid. So this compressibility effect, why this slide is tried to introduce, because here Nusselt number variation with respect to Notch number is tried to elaborate. This is what the Mach number 0.3. Above this is a compressible flow, and below it is a incompressible flow. But when you talk about the Nusselt number very low, but if the Notch number is very high, then if it is crosses this line, then it will be a compressible flow. So in microchannel, we are, though air is a compressible fluid, but the flow which we are considering, it is an incompressible flow. I'm repeating, though air is a compressible fluid, but at very low Mach number and very low Reynolds number, we are trying to consider the flow is incompressible. What is the meaning of this? I will try to explain the meaning of this is, so in incompressible flow, the Mach number is less than 0.3. So here, whatever density variation due to pressure change, we are considering as a very, very small change, and we are neglecting that. You can see here the air density, which is a property of pressure and temperature, the change in density with respect to pressure and the change in density with respect to temperature. This is called as sensitivity of the density due to pressure or sensitivity of the density due to temperature. So S rho P, that is sensitivity of the density with respect to pressure, that we are trying to neglect for the incompressible fluid, and only we are focusing on the change in temperature, change in density with respect to temperature. So this del P by del rho by del T, this we are trying to focus compared to this factor. So this is the meaning of this incompressible fluid. So changes in the velocity of the sound, that is sonic velocity, in such cases is very, very small compared to velocity of the object, that is the stream velocity. So variation in density and variation of the Mach number you can see here. So before we proceed with the microchannel flow, one must understand what is the type of geometry, what is the entrance length, and what is without entrance length, and what are the boundary conditions to be put before we start investigation of the property variation inside the microchannel flow to determine the pressure drop characteristics and the heat transfer characteristics. So this is what the problem formulation is. This is a simple microchannel tube of very small dimension, wherein the aspect ratio is given as 100 L by D, and this is a downstream flow direction. And here we consider the parabolic flow. The velocity profile is fully developed. Fully developed means the velocity at the center, that is u max, is almost 2 times the mean velocity. Suppose this is the mean velocity um, so this will almost double at the center. So this is what the fully developed temperature profile and the velocity profile at the inlet, and the same we are considering the fully developed temperature and velocity profile at the exit. So during this entire length of the computational domain, during the flow, what are the changes in the property of the fluid, that is our focus. And this entire peripheral, this is circular tube of some dimension d, this entire peripheral is subjected with a constant wall heat flux boundary condition at the wall. So the boundary conditions which we can write here as a inlet boundary condition, that is a u profile, which will vary in radial direction and at x, y is equals to 0. Similarly, temperature profile, it will vary in y direction and at x is equals to 0. These are the meaning of the fully developed means there is no change in the velocity profile. The velocity profile is fully developed here in between, that is z by d equals to 50, z by d is to 100 at the exit. So this del u rz means velocity profile in rz at any point of rz. This is the z axis, axial direction. This is the radial direction r. So rz, whatever velocity at any point, there is no change with respect to z direction. That is, this u is constant, and because of this u constant, derivative of this constant is 0. So this is the meaning of this fully developed profile. Second is outlet boundary condition. Outlet boundary condition means the gauge pressure at the outlet is 0. Means P exit is atmospheric, right? So P total is P atmospheric plus P gauge. So P X condition will be equals to atmospheric condition, and here at the end we will apply a Newman boundary condition, that is the change in velocity profile, temperature profile, radial profile, there will be no change in this profile. Third boundary condition that we will apply, as what we discuss here, it is a constant wall heat flux boundary condition. So this is what the Fourier law of heat conduction, the amount of heat flux entering inside the body, that is called as a K temperature gradient at the wall. The product of these two, that is the heat flux. That heat flux we are applying, it is a constant heat flux, peripheral, because we are assuming that this is an entire system which is heated and microchannel is inserted in the silicon substrate, which will carry the amount of heat and it will cool the system, silicon substrate. So that is why we assume that amount of heat is generated in the MEMS devices, and our aim is to provide a thermal management system with the help of these microchannel devices. Am I audible, sir? Chandrakant sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so no disturbances from my side, any audio disturbances?
No,
like
absolutely this? Okay, sir. Going smooth, sir. Absolutely okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. So this is what the three types of boundary condition we talked so far, and one. Yeah, now it's okay. You just mute the mic from your end. Somebody's mic is on.
Sir, I am muting all, so you can unmute yourself, sir. Yeah, you can unmute now. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah, I assume that you are audible. You all are audible. So
yes,
we
sir. Yes, sir.
talk on. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We talk on these three types of boundary condition, and let us go for the final boundary condition. That is, this system we consider the axisymmetric, and only this half portion we will study in the computational domain, because the creating the mesh, the geometry, and then iteration, it will take some long time. So in order to save the computational time, we will consider this is an axisymmetric condition, wherein we consider the gradient in axial velocity, gradient in temperature, and the pressure gradient will be zero. And we will put one uniform flat profile velocity and temperature at the inlet. So with this four boundary condition, we assume that entrance length is zero and the profile is fully developed. So this is case one. It is applicable for air. It is applicable for the gas or liquid. But now if you talk about the entrance length, so somewhat this problem formulation will be different. How it is different? You can see here. So you cannot have a fully developed profile here. You have to have a flat profile, that is called as a flat temperature or flat velocity profile at inlet, has some constant value. All these are uniform or flat with some constant value. When it enters, because of this viscosity, the last particle will try to stick here, and then virtual boundary layer will form, and both boundary layer from both sides of the wall, they will coincide at this point at certain length, and here the flow will get accelerated at the maximum rate, and the velocity will get double compared to this mean velocity. Here we get a fully developed profile. So this is called the entrance length, right? And we are trying to provide a uniform heat flux over this length, and that is why this profile is getting developed, right? Both profile, temperature profile and the velocity profile. So here the boundary condition will be same: outlet boundary condition, wall boundary condition, and axis boundary condition. This will be same, only inlet boundary condition will differ. In previous case, it was a fully developed profile. Here, now variation of this u in radial direction at x equals to 0 will be equals to the flat profile. You can see here u in radial direction has some constant value, which was not true in earlier case. There we have to write one code in C++, wherein we have to write the complete velocity profile. But here we have to put simply a value, constant value, so that it will automatically fully develop at an entrance length. So this is what the difference between fully developed profile and the entrance length profile. And other three conditions are same. There is no difference in three conditions. So this is what the difference in these two problems. Okay, now we are trying to solve these problems with the help of this numerical simulation. So let me focus how this problem is solved with the help of this numerical simulation. Here we are trying to consider aspect ratio L by D is 100, which is subjected to constant wall heat flux boundary condition. That heat flux boundary condition is given as 5, sometimes 6, sometimes 7 watt per centimeter square, and very small diameter, that is 750 micron meter diameter of the microchannel is taken in order to examine the effect of high temperature gradient and its effects on the microconvection characteristics. This L by D value is selected is 100. This is to ensure that highest Knudsen number and M, which should lie below subsonic flow, that is 0.001. This high Nusselt number and low M Mach number, this will ensure the rate of change of dimensionless profile of the transport variable, that is transport variable U, V and T. This along the flow, they are equated to 0 as per our boundary conditions. So in order to simulate this problem, computational domain, which is mapped with the structure and refined grids. So herein we are trying to consider the grid size of 400 grid parts in the axial direction and 100 in the radial direction. And grid successive ratio, we are trying to keep 1.02 axially and 0.998 radially. I will show you how it looks like. So in order to capture the mechanism near the inlet and at the wall boundary condition, these grid points are very close to each other, and at the exit or near the axis, it is not that much nearer. So this arrangement is only made in order to capture the mechanism, physical mechanism. So this graded mesh is used to capture the change in the flow and temperature field in both the direction, x direction and the y direction. You can see here 0.98, and here it is more than 1 in x direction. More than 1 in the sense this distance divided by this distance. So this is growing distance. So therefore this divided by this will be more than 1, and here the smaller divided by the bigger, it will be less than 1. So this structure, grid structure, the points which we are considering, it is 400 in axial direction, 100 in radial direction. So why it is 400 and why it is 100, that I will describe later on. Because once your geometry and this validation is okay, then and then you can go for the further investigation. Otherwise, without validation, no editor or no author will accept your this research work. So validity is very important, which is possible with the help of grid independency. So we are considering 400 points in axial direction, 100 in radial direction, with grid successive ratio of 1.02 and 0.98 in the radial direction. So here we are trying to change this grid size. So that is delta Z, means 400 divided by the distance L and 100 divided by the distance R, that is delta R. So delta Z upon delta R in case of this grid. So if we consider this grid, then delta Z by delta R is 50. If we are considering this grid, then delta Z by delta R is 25. So it means that we are trying to give this delta Z by delta R a different value, 50, 25 and 50. And sometimes it is 100 also. So with all this change in the grid size, delta Z by delta R, we found that there is no change in the Nusselt number value. That is, we are trying to get a Nusselt number for constant property, it is equals to 4.36. Why it is 4.36? Because when a flow taking place in a circular diameter with constant wall heat flux boundary condition in a textbook, this is a very reference equation, and it is solved by simultaneous equation, and you get Nusselt number value equals to 4.36 for a circular tube with constant wall heat flux boundary condition. For constant wall temperature condition, it is a 4.39, but for constant wall heat flux, it is a 4.36. So we are trying to validate all this grid size, and we found that in all the cases, the value for Nusselt number at constant pressure is 4.36. In addition to this, the product of friction factor and Reynolds number. But for constant property, we are talking only for the constant property because we are now not entering into the microfluidics. We are validating our model with a conventional channel. If it is true for conventional, then we will go inside with the micro channel, and then property variation we will introduce. We will remove this CP, constant property. So we tried to validate this F into RE for constant property, and that we found with the textbook, reference textbook, it is 64. And the accuracy of this numerical result that lie within a 0.1%. Means if it is 64, it might be hardly 63.99 or something else. So here we assume that the heat, the flux, that is mean density into mean velocity, the product of these two is constant, and temperature, the profile temperature profile at the inlet, that is remains same for all the cases. So with this understanding, we try to solve this numerical system, numerical solution, and we validate our geometry. Okay. Now, what are the Gaon equations, flow equations we are trying to solve along with this numerical simulation? So we try to solve this continuity equation. It is a two-dimensional study. So we have to write Z momentum equation, R momentum equation, and the energy equation. So this continuity equation will take care of the radial velocity when axial velocity profile will generate. So of course it is two-dimensional and it is a micro channel devices. So here radial velocity or radial convection, one more important parameter will generate, and that will taken care of the continuity equation, wherein the Z momentum will take care of the pressure gradient in X direction. X means Z direction, axial direction. And here we will consider the viscous dissipation effect. So this is a viscous dissipation effect because at a lower dimension, viscosity will become more and more important. So the same will be taken care by the R momentum equation in radial direction. So this is what the energy equation we try to solve. This is a material derivative of temperature on the left hand side, and this is what the convection term, this will be convected out, and this is what the conduction term. So del square T, that is del square X upon del X square, del square T upon del Y square, plus this viscous dissipation factor. So this viscous dissipation factor in conventional correlation we can neglect, but in microfluidics we cannot neglect. So these equations, Gaon equations, we are writing in vector notation for constant property. So this is not enough to solve this investigation. Now we have to incorporate the changes in the property, and now we have to introduce the change in density in radial direction, change in density in the axial direction, and change in velocity in the axial direction. So because of this introduction of the property variation, instead of getting me a simple equation, I will find this continuation in this form. So these are the equations we have tried to solve for the property variation. So similar is the case for Z momentum, R momentum, and the energy equation. So this is what the property variation equations. So this we solved for the property variation one by one, continuity, momentum, and the energy, wherein we have tried to introduce the new factor called as viscous dissipation, and somewhere in the investigation, this viscous dissipation is introduced. Similarly, here axial conduction is also tried to introduce. So when we non-dimensionalize these equations, so we have considered average quantity like UM and TM. So how this UM and TM is calculated? This is shown here, and this is a gradient of V, how it is calculated, how to define this theta and pressure. So we have non-dimensionalized all these parameters Cp, K, nu, rho, Z, and U. In suppose this nu, it is non-dimensionalized into U bar, and it is written ratio of nu into nu m. So it is non-dimensionalized by mean velocity um. So we have found three non-dimensional pi group. This is a pi group called as sensitivity of the density with respect to temperature at the inlet profile, which is given by this parameter. This is a pi group of sensitivity of the viscosity at inlet, and this is a sensitivity, pi group sensitivity of the conductivity at the inlet, which is given by this group. So we have tried to non-dimensionalize using this parameter, and we have non-dimensionalized in one group, that is pi group, and pi group we have written for density, viscosity, and conductivity. So overall, what we are trying to focus is here. We have these two mechanism, conventional size mechanism and microchannel. In addition to radial conduction and axial convection, which usually happen in conventional size channel, two more mechanism we can observe in the microchannel. So that two mechanism is, one is radial convection and another is a axial conduction. Other than this radial conduction and axial convection. So in order to find this, we have to solve these equations. What is this axial conduction terms and what is this radial convection terms? So these radial convection terms can be found out with the help of this continuity equation, and this axial conduction terms, this axial conduction parameter, we can study with the help of this energy equation. When you on heat flux, the temperature profile will generated, that will affect directly on heat transfer characteristics, and then you can find this axial conduction term in this microchannel. And this is what energy equation in cylindrical coordinate written, because we are trying to study in the cylindrical coordinate. You can see how it reduces to this, and with property variation, how to write this energy equation in this form. So this all will be taken care by this numerical simulation. But at a back end, we should not forget what are the governing equations we are using and how it is playing a role. Because to find the physical investigation, you must know what are the terms and quantity which are playing an important role in the governing equation. Otherwise, if you just play a click, it will provide you a beautiful picture, colorful picture, and but the physical investigation and everything, you will not be in position to write in proper way, and that's what the real investigation is. So for Cp, this specific value at constant pressure, we have written this fourth order polynomial fit. This is the Cp into T in fourth polynomial fit. The value for the gas we have taken from 500 to 2000. We cannot go beyond 2000 value because dissociation of the air will take place after 2000 degree Kelvin. This is a Kelvin, and before 500 it has no effect. Cp has no effect with respect to temperature, but in between these two temperature we can see the best fit polynomial curve. The enlarged view you can see here. So this is obtained by least square method in the temperature range of this, and variation of K and variation of viscosity is modeled with the help of this correlation, which is given in the standard textbook. So as temperature go on increasing, this value go on increasing, and your conductivity variation you can capture in the numerical simulation. So unless you provide this type of program, so this is code, a program code is written and it is fitted into the Fluent simulation. So unless you write this code for K variation, nu variation, the CP polynomial fit and density, you cannot find the exact property variation result. Now we are trying to focus on the effect. I will take a 1 minute break. Let me drink water. Sir, is it fine, sir? I am audible? Dr. Chandrakant, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir. So I am
Do you
going.
want to stop 5 minutes?
Sir, I have taken half glass of water. Now I am fine, sir.
Okay, sir. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I think 1 hour is over. I have to conduct my entire result in 30 minutes. I will try to brief the result in 30 minutes because the CFD application is more important rather than my results and investigation. So understanding CFD is more important because your entire Atal FDP is on advances of the CFD. That is why I spend more time on the CFD application and the governing equations.
Yes, yes,
So I
sir.
will brief the result in 20 minutes and rest 10 minutes we will discuss if someone has query questions, then we will discuss. We have only now 25 minutes with us. So these are the results which we could obtain with the help of this property variation. You can see here the radial velocity, which is peak near the inlet, and this decays along the length of the microchannel flow. But that is totally different in case of all type of property variation. Individually, we consider the effect of density variation. So we consider here compressible fluid, that is variation of density with respect to pressure and temperature. We added density variation with Cp value, then we added rho Cp with K factor, and then altogether all property we are combining here and see what is the effect of this all property variation on the radial velocity. And we found that the radial velocity is having a peak value, that is Vm radial velocity, which is generated and which will take care of the continuity equation. It is peak in case of this rho, Cp and K value compared to all these three, and it is least in case of this combination value. And this case is run for one constant profile of 20 meter per second with a constant heat flux value of 5 watt per meter square. This effect of variation in the property that induces the radial convection with radial flow. This radial convection is developed with the effect of radial flow, and this radial velocity Vm is induced because of this continuity, and this Vm is radially outward. Basically, because of this radially outward profile, your Nusselt number, that is a convection, is getting down. So this Vm is radially outward, that is positive towards increasing radius. This value is positive towards the increasing radius. So it reaches to the maximum value very close to the inlet, and then it decays along the flow. If you see along the flow, it decays. So the Vm value is very small with respect to axial velocity, but we cannot ignore this value in case of microflow devices. So why we cannot ignore? The reason is it is weighted by large radial fluid temperature gradient that determine the radial convection. Here temperature gradient is very, very large, and this Vm, that is radial velocity, this radial convection is weighted by the radial fluid temperature gradient, and that will provide a value of radial convection, and which is very, very important, which we ignore in the conventional side channel. That difference we have seen in the earlier figure. If you see this Vm value, you can calculate with the help of this profile, and this Vm value which will increases with respect to increase in the heat flux. Means if MEMS devices is dissipating 5 watt per centimeter square and then 7 watt, if the size of the PCB motherboard is increasing, so of course this radial convection will go on increasing with respect to increase in the heat flux. So this is the observation of this radial velocity, which is going outward in the positive direction, means increasing radius. Now this is what the effect of this radial convection. Now let us talk what is the effect on the velocity profile. Velocity profile. This figure will provide the fully developed constant property flow velocity profile due to incorporation of the density variation. If you have a density variation, simple density variation. See, the beauty of the software which we develop is what we can individually study the effect of each and every parameter. We can study the effect of simply density variation. We can add whatever we want. We can add CP, we can add K, we can add nu, we can add everything and study. So individual effect can be studied. This is not possible when you go for the experimentation. So that is why once it is validated, then we went on the experimentation and we then started designing of the microfluid devices. So due to incorporation of this density variation, the profile changes from parabolic, that is a developed profile, to the flattening profile. That is, you can see it is a fully developed profile. You can see the dotted is called a parabolic profile. This is a wall. So R by R is 0. This is a center and this is a wall, right? So this is a fully developed parabolic profile. Because of this density variation, this development of the profile will take place, and there is a flattening of the profile. And because of the flattening of the profile, you can see here it is tending more, and because at the wall it is more flattened, more amount of mass flux is carrying out at the wall, and therefore Nusselt number increases. It means that when density variation is incorporating in any type of fluid, because of this flattening profile near the wall, more amount of mass flux is flowing near the wall, and more amount of mass flux is more convection. So that is called the flattening profile. So it changes from parabolic, that is developed, to undeveloped mode. An increase in rho variation because of higher heat flux, that causes more flattening effect, and this will reduce the axial velocity at the center. So axial velocity at the center will get reduced. So overall effect is large mass flux close to the wall. So here large amount of mass flux is flowing close to the wall, thereby it promotes the convection, because you see Nusselt number will directly proportional to the velocity gradient, that is del U by del R at wall. Since this Nusselt number is proportional to velocity gradient, mass flux is more and more amount of heat is dissipated. So this indicates that the resharpening and development of the profile is taking place because of this property variation. If you consider rho, then it's a flattening of the profile. If you considering all types of combination, it then have a resharpening and developing profile for all types of variation. So this is because of this velocity gradient at the wall. So if you see what happened actually at the wall, enlarged view at the wall is taken. You can see here constant property value, this is the CP, and you can see individual variation, that is constant property variation is given by this, and this is what rho variation. So more amount of mass flux, you can see the difference. More amount of mass flux is flowing near the wall. So what is the physical mechanism? You can see in case of liquid, theory is different. In case of gas, theory is different. But the flattening of the profile will take place in both the cases. So you can see this is the axial velocity profile near the wall. This is the wall. R by R is equals to 1, non-dimensional factor. And this is a U by UM. This is a velocity profile. In case of liquid, what happen is mean velocity, mean viscosity is always greater than viscosity at the wall. But this is not the case at gas. At gas, viscosity at wall is more than mean viscosity. So therefore, in case of liquid, what happen is del U by del R, that is the velocity gradient for property variation at wall, divided by del U by del R at constant property. This ratio is always higher than 1, and that is why the profile is getting flattened. And in case of gas, Since this is less than 1, the profile gets sharpened. So this is what the theory is. So the effect, now let us see what is the effect of this introduction of this CP with respect to temperature on the temperature field. So earlier effect was on the velocity field. So this is a in temperature field will affect. So velocity field is an indirect effect and temperature field is a direct effect, because this will directly change the temperature profile and the Nusselt number. So here you can see the bulk mean temperature and the wall temperature. So the wall temperature is getting reduced because of this introduction of the property variation, and it is shown in increasing the length of the microchannel. The length of the microchannel in non-dimensional form Z by D is shown, and this is a trial run for this constant value of profile, temperature profile, and the heat flux. So here bulk mean temperature Tm is calculated with the help of this. This is the average enthalpy bulk mean temperature at any cross section. So this is to be calculated with the help of this, and here Nusselt number is given by Hd by K. This already we have seen. If this temperature difference Tw minus Tm is constant, this will remain constant because diameter is constant, this heat flux is constant, conductivity is constant. Only we have to check what is the difference in Tw and Tm, and you can find here there is a decrease in the value of Tm, and there is a decrease in the value of Tm and Tw because of reducing the wall temperature gradient. So you can see because of introduction of Cp, the value is tending to reduce. In case of bulk mean temperature also, the value is changing. It is getting reduced, and therefore the difference, this difference getting reduced, and therefore because of introduction of the Cp value, there is a variation of Cp with respect to temperature along the length of microchannel because of the height flux. This Nusselt number will go on increasing because of this reducing value of this Tw minus Tm. So you can see here if the average value of the CPM if go on increasing, this Tw minus Tm go on decreasing, because you can see Q double prime W heat flux at wall will be equal to Cp delta T. So this is a natural process, and this will promote Nusselt number. Okay, so you can see here because of introduction of Cp value, you can see the temperature difference Tw minus Tm. In earlier figure, we have seen only the temperature of bulk mean temperature and the wall temperature. We have not seen this Tw minus Tm, but here specifically the difference is also tried to plot, and you can see the difference. You can see the difference also getting reduced compared to the rho value. So similarly, if you try to see the density effect, so of course, if temperature go on increasing, so density gradient, because of this reducing density gradient, you will find an inverted U type of profile, and this inverted U type of profile is less effective, and because of this reducing in density, because mass flux will reduce. If density reduces, then rho m into em will reduces, and this has a other way effect on the Nusselt number. Here Nusselt number will try to reduce. So this is what the combination of all the type of property variation where we are trying to equate the result with the constant property variation. So constant property variation is shown by dotted line. This is for constant wall temperature, and dotted means for bulk mean temperature. And now for rho Cp, rho Cpk, and for all type of property variation, this Tw and Tm are recorded, and the temperature difference between this Tw and Tm is also recorded. You can find this is a constant for constant property, wherein in all the other cases the Tw minus Tm value is going reduce. So in case of this rho, in case of rho Cpt, the difference is very small, but if you add a Cp and viscosity, the difference is too large, and that is why Nusselt number is very high. So here Tm is calculated with the help of this profile, and Q double prime W is trying to introduce because of this Fourier law of heat conduction at wall del T by del R, and this shows that the increased value of CPM that reduces TW minus Tm. If you add this Cp here, Cp and Cp, you can find this there is a decrease in the TW minus Tm. So there are some property variation effect on the temperature field. This is the rho variation. Density will go on decreasing and it is reducing at the wall, because at wall there is a high heat flux, because peripheral heat flux is present at the wall, and thereby R by R1 wall will be having a lowest density compared to the center density. And for different type of variation, this will vary. So static temperature will go on increasing. This is altogether different. The density will go on reducing because temperature increases. Temperature is highest at the wall because of high heat flux. So temperature is highest starting from the central distance. It go on increasing, and you can find the highest value is in case of rho, Cp, K, and nu. So one more parameter which we should not forget to describe, called as a axial conduction, and this axial conduction is calculated by the enthalpy balance equation. Why to just go through the axial conduction? Because we are trying to find axial temperature gradient and conduction number along the flow. So if I try to jump on directly this slide without explanation of the axial conduction phenomena, so it will not be justice. So let me define what is axial conduction. Axial conduction happen in micro channel because the size of the channel is very, very small, and this effect, called as the scaling effect, non-rarefaction effect, we cannot ignore, and that is why this will play a very, very important role in a design of the MEMS devices. So here you can see a very small elemental area of distance del Z is considered, wherein this peripheral heat is considered as Q double prime W. The enthalpy balance equation is written, and for Cp and K variation, this enthalpy balance equation is reduced to this. And for Cp variation, along the axial direction, del square T m by del Z square, this we cannot create equals to 0 because it has got some value, because Cp variation, we have seen because of variation in Cp in the axial direction, there is a change in temperature gradient, there is a change in density gradient. So this value we cannot consider as a 0. So what it indicates, because of this enthalpy balance equation, we can find the rate of H increase is faster than the rate of Km increase. And the role of Cp variation in radial conduction is more. So what is this radial conduction? So radial conduction means, if you see the temperature variation, mean bulk temperature variation, this R by R is equals to 1 means at the wall. If you see for this variation, rho, Cp and K, you can see the almost flat profile. But there is a U-shaped profile if you introduce rho and rho Cp variation. But all of a sudden, if you try to add K variation, it will become a flat. One more additional term, that is the K variation, and this is what the effect of this axial conduction, which will try to reduce the Nusselt number because it will flow in opposite direction to the flow. So this Nusselt number in this case is calculated with the help of this, that is conduction, and this is the average conduction. So this is the axial temperature gradient, which you can find del Tm by del Z in this axial direction, which will try to reduce along the length of direction, and it is the highest in case of this all property variation compared to constant property variation. You can see for constant property variation or for density, it is almost constant. There is no change in axial temperature gradient. But as soon as you try to incorporate the value of the Cp change, K change, and all property together, then this axial temperature gradient will going to be decreased. And this way, the conductance number, this is what the novelty is. Nobody has defined this conductance number, but we have defined this conductance number based on this axial temperature gradient in this way. And for circular tube, we have find this conductance number in case of Peclet number. And Peclet number, which is proportional to the ratio of this variation of Cp and Km. So the axial conduction terms which come out from these governing equations when we try to adopt this conduction number is this one. So altogether, what we are focusing out is change in Nusselt number. What is the effect on the Nusselt number? So everywhere when you are trying to incorporate the variation in the property, there is an increase in the Nusselt number as compared to the constant property variation. This is the constant property variation, but though it is starting from the lower value, but a trend is towards the higher value. So Nusselt number is to be calculated this way, and if you see algebraically and you compare the change in Nusselt number for constant property and what is the change in Nusselt number to the change in Nusselt number at the exit. So for constant property it is 0, and for exit also it is the same, so there is no change, so it is 0. But for all other value like rho and Cp and K and for nu, there is a change in value. So almost the maximum change in Nusselt number variation is obtained in all property variation, and it is almost 14%. So this was one investigation. So this change in Nusselt number for constant property, it is to be calculated with this formula. Sir, Chandrakant sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir, I have tried to cover up the Nusselt number result. The time is over. I have to say something on friction factor and pressure drop characteristics, and 2 to 3 minutes on the grades problem, and then I will summarize. Is it okay? Because your time is
Yes,
over.
absolutely okay, sir. Absolutely okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Take your time, sir. No problem.
Okay, sir. So apart from these heat transfer characteristics, we should not forget that because of the more surface available, we have a hurdle of friction factor and pressure drop. So we have tried to focus on how to calculate this friction factor and the pressure drop. So this is what the flow taking place because of this pressure gradient in the downstream direction, and this is what the maximum shear stress we obtain at the wall surface, tau w in opposite direction, and there is a minimum shear stress at the center because of the acceleration of the flow particles. So here we try to study two types of friction factor. One is fanning friction factor and another is Darcy friction factor. Darcy friction factor is always calculated based on the pressure gradient, and fanning friction factor is calculated based on the wall velocity gradient. So this is a ratio of shear stress, that is tau w upon dynamic pressure. So this is given by this formula, and Darcy friction factor is given by this formula. So the validation is done in this case also, because unless we validate our model, we cannot go ahead for the property variation. For constant property, what we found is this FD is 4 times of friction factor. This Darcy friction factor is 4 times of Fanning friction factor, as what it is written in the textbook. And when we try to multiply this FD into RED, Reynolds number, that product we found 64. And in numerical simulation, we already introduced that the variation in the result was not more than 0.1%, and thus it was validated. So with these basic fundamentals formulas and the understanding, we tried to infer what is the variation of the velocity flow along the flow, velocity field along the flow. So this is the velocity gradient at wall with respect to Z by D. This is the length of microchannel. It is a non-dimensionalized length. It is written Z by D 0, 50 and 100. So if you see for constant property, the velocity gradient is almost constant. This is the highest value. But if you try to incorporate density variation and all the property variation, this wall velocity gradient trying to reduce from this constant property variation. So constant property variation, which is given by the plus sign. This is the plus sign, and all these values they lie below this line. Similarly, mean velocity. Mean velocity in case of constant property, it will remain the same constant value. But if you try to incorporate all the property variation, what will happen? The acceleration of the particle will take place, because higher temperature gradient, it will reduces the density and it will accelerate the flow particle. So the property mean property, the mean velocity value will go accelerate in the axial direction. So this gradient del U by del R at wall, it is the proportional value of this nu m by nu w into velocity, mean velocity. And mean value of this del U by del R at wall is calculated by gradient at wall into radius upon mean velocity profile at the inlet. So this way, effect of the variation of velocity field along the flow is calculated. So this is the Reynolds number value along the length of the channel. How it differs when the variation in property is added, it can be shown. It shows that it goes in the downstream direction compared to the constant property value. And it is to be calculated in this way. Here bulk mean temperature, which we are trying to find, it is calculated in the same way what we did in Nusselt number characteristics. Similarly, Mach number variation is find out with the help of this Knudsen number correlationship, where lambda value is calculated based on this formula. This role of rho, mu, Cp and K variation on the shear stress. The shear stress in case of constant property, it is having a very low value. There is no change in the shear stress. But as you go on adding the property variation, you can see number of trials are done here. In every case, the shear stress value is increasing. Why this is increasing? Because gradient at wall surface is going to be increased. That is del U by del R is more than 1. And what is del U by del R? It is this shear stress. Shear stress means nu W, viscosity at wall, into gradient at wall. That is shear stress. So because of this increasing this factor del U by del R at wall, the entire product will go on increasing, and the shear stress value at wall will go on increasing. So the variation of flow parameter based on the wall shear stress is also calculated. That is del tau W along z direction is to be calculated with the help of this, and you can see the variation. Similarly, fanning friction factor, which otherwise said to be constant, you can see it is constant value, but fanning friction factor in case of microfluidic, because of this property variation, will go on increasing, and monotonically you can see in all the cases it go on increasing. So this del F by del Z is to be calculated using this mathematical expression, and this we have to write the code, and we have to incorporate when it takes care of the change in viscosity with respect to temperature. Then it will provide the proper result. So this FF is calculated with the help of this formula, tau W upon mu m. And the last is pressure drop in microchannel. We can see because of this P1, P2 pressure difference along the length, we can have this flow in downstream direction. This delta P means P1 minus P2 pressure drop along the length L. This net pressure force, it is equal to the boundary resistance. So we can write this equation of this pressure difference and Darcy-Weisbach equation, and at the last we get this delta P upon rho G is equal to this 4 tau W by L rho G D, or tau W you can also get by this. So components of the delta P in case of liquid and in case of gas, as what we explained earlier, the profile del U by del R at wall is greater than 1, and therefore this velocity profile will get flattened, wherein in case of gas, this velocity gradient at wall is less than 1, therefore the velocity profile will get sharpened. Sharpening of the velocity profile, that will decrease Nusselt number, decrease the heat transfer, whereas flattening means more mass heat flux at the wall, it will increase the Nusselt number, it will increase the heat transfer characteristics, heat transfer rate from the silicon substrate micro devices. So decrease in viscosity at wall along flow, it flattens, and this nu Rz and increase in tau W and delta P. So this is increase in nu W along the flow, that increases the shear stress and the delta P. And along with this delta P, we have the friction factor, which will calculate it with the help of this equation. So this is what the delta P. You can see at the end, the exit pressure we have considered 0, the gauge pressure. Since it's atmospheric, so gauge pressure will be 0. You can see here gauge pressure is 0. But because of this pressure, the flow is taking place and the fluid is coming out. The heat is convected radially outward. Okay, so this is the pressure difference in case of this property variation. You can see for this constant property variation, the pressure drop is very minimum, but when you add property variation, the pressure drop is maximum. So this delta P gauge is calculated by the mean pressure in Z direction minus Px at L, means at maximum length of the microchannel. So we have this P gauge and we have delta P momentum. This momentum is what acceleration of the fluid particle because of this increase in the temperature and reducing the density gradient. So this can be calculated with the help of this rho m into um in bracket this difference of this velocity. So this is the pressure loss due to fluid friction. As such, we were talking about the momentum, delta P because of momentum. We have also delta P because of the pressure loss due to fluid friction, that is delta P by friction, delta P by momentum, delta P by friction. And because of these two, we are getting total pressure drop, that is called the delta P total variation. And delta P total variation is given here, it is a delta P friction, and here it is a delta P total momentum equation. And at the last, we have friction factor and Postulus number variation, that is given by Postulus number is equals to friction factor and the Reynolds number product. And you can see dpm by dz, that is the mean pressure variation in axial direction, is given by the summation of this is a friction factor variation plus pressure change because of this momentum. The summation of these two, it will give the total pressure variation along the axial direction. So this is what numerical value, what is the exact effect of density, density plus other parameters. This is compared with the constant property variation. You can see there is an abrupt change and maximum change is around 14%. So as what we discussed in case of air, the similar theory we are applying in liquid flow. Only in liquid case, the density variation is not so much. It is from 0 to 100 and almost from the density profile for this 0 to 100 temperature variation can be written in this profile. So this variation is written and the profile was given in the fluent. And viscosity variation, conductivity variation for water is totally different compared to air. And then the most important variation, it was not an outward radial profile velocity profile, but it was an inward radial velocity profile. This is an inward radial velocity profile, which will sharpen the velocity profile and reduces the Nusselt number. So this theory will be different in case of liquid flow characteristics. So that I will not go in detail of this liquid flow characteristics, because altogether physical significance and the understanding will be different from the gas. So this study was also carried out by the this numerical simulation for the friction and pressure drop characteristics, and which has totally different types of results. And at the last, what I was talking about the grades problem. So grades problem was discussed. Grades problem means initially only velocity profile was given and no heat flux was given, and in the midway of the length of the channel, then this heat flux constant value was given, and then from here onwards the temperature profile will try to develop. And now at the entrance length, both velocity profile and temperature profile will be fully developed, and then we will solve the grades problem in this z by d equals to 0 to z by d equals to 100, wherein we have two types of category. Heat flux is 0 during this L by d 50, and we have some value of this heat flux constant wall heat flux boundary condition with some constant value during this half portion of this, wherein this temperature profile will be fully developed. So this is what called as the grades problem. Also, this grades problem was also solved, and we have this results in the grades problem with this variation of the Wilson number. So, in nutshell, what we can focus is, other than this conventional side channel, we have two types of additional physical mechanism which are coming out because of radial velocity, that is radial convection, and axial conduction. And all this property variation, thermophysical property variation, has an effect on velocity field and temperature field. So density has a direct effect which flatten axial profile, that is a significant value, and this density has a direct effect on temperature field, which is a significant. Similarly, specific heat, which is indirect significant, indirect effect and insignificant, and this Cp value has a direct effect which reduces Tw minus Tm because of reducing temperature gradient at the wall, and which is a significant value. Viscosity has a direct effect which sharpens the axial velocity profile, which is a significant, and in case of temperature field, this is considered to be indirect effect, which is insignificant. And the last is thermal conductivity property variation, which is having an indirect effect which flatten the axial velocity profile, which is significant. But in temperature field, it has got a direct effect which flattens the temperature profile, which is called to be a significant effect on the heat transfer characteristics. So the property which we are playing a direct effect, that will play indirect effect in the friction factor and pressure drop characteristics, and this is a reverse case. So for both air heated and air cooled, it is explained. I will not go in detail. So this is what the velocity gradient at wall, shear stress for different types of variation. So this is a summarized result. So you can see what we discuss in case of heat transfer characteristics. It is the reverse case for the pressure drop and shear stress characteristics, because there it was a direct effect, here it will play as an indirect effect. So with this, I close this discussion on the microfluidics property variation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your such a enlightening session. Participant, quickly, one or two questions.
Sir, I want to have a question.
Yes, sir.
Sir, like all these property variations and axial conduction and radial convection, these effects have been incorporated inside Fluent itself, like
Yes,
by writing UDF, sir?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Sir, Chandrakant, sir, you can start my video.
Should I what should I start, sir?
I want to start my video. Video should be on.
So you
from
can
my.
share. You can yeah. You can again share the very similar way. You can share the things.
So I means I can see the participant, or participant can see me in the last minute. That's what I wish. So
So that the button is not switching it on.
no, sir. No, no. Not.
Uh,
Sir, you
I
will
think
have to stop screen sharing and then the video will start.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what. That's what. So just a bit, huh?
So this square button na just next to the mic.
But if
Ah,
I okay,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Now you can.
So
Yes, sir. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's
It's
visible.
now I cannot share the presentation, but I will answer for your question. So someone asked me axial conduction, the compressibility effect and the property variation. These are incorporated in the Fluent. Yes, it is incorporated in the Fluent, but for that everywhere you have to write a UDF, wherein UDF will take care of the change in property with respect to temperature.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. And can I ask one more?
Yes, sir.
Sir, like in case of more queries, can we somehow approach you? Like, is it possible?
Shall I write my email here or
That
no?
would be great, sir.
So you can chat box in the chat box. You can have an email.
Yes, sir. I am writing my phone number 9322080056. This is my number I have written, and my email ID is nitin@yummy.vjti.ac.in. I have written my email NP Gulane. My name is Nitin NP Gulane. At the rate of my department is mechanical. VJTI is my institute.ac.in. So you can contact me on this email on this number anytime. WhatsApp. This is WhatsApp.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sir, welcome, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Nitin, sir, for such a nice session. I hope participants have really gained the insight what you have been discussed. So thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you for providing this opportunity to interact with all the participants of Atal FDP. I also enjoyed this discussion. I could share my thoughts, my experiences, because this is what real investigation we did during our different numerical experimentation. Uh, Actually, only gas part was covered, not Grade's problem and water characteristics and the friction and pressure drop characteristics. And we later on we had one experimentation in microchannel in IIT Bombay that was not also incorporated because of this lack of time. But anyway, the focus was numerical simulation, the validation, and the CFD application. One of the CFD application I was trying to introduce, and that was towards the microfluidics. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Interested participant can go and check sir's papers. That will be available, I hope, on your institute, says Coopers or respective journal websites. So even in that, they can have references.
This is my website, vjti.ac.in. If you click this VJTI website, VJTI Academic Institute,